Thank you so much. Really, thanks so much, Rachali, and the entire Bikkur Cholim on the Five Towns for inviting me and giving me the opportunity and the privilege for allowing me to give over my story to each and every one of you guys. It's great to see, friends and familiar faces, and it really means a lot. I can't imagine all the great chesed and the entire work that Bikkur Cholim does for the entire world, probably, and I feel so honored to be a small part of your work, so thank you. My name's Estee Ackerman. I'm 20 years old, from West Hempstead, New York, and I'm also a nationally ranked ping pong player. In 2016, I became the first Orthodox Jewish athlete to ever try out for the Olympics. So before I tell you those results, I guess let me first say how this all began. When I was around 8 years old, my father wanted to do something fun and interactive that did not involve the electronic gadgets, as he thought the next and young upcoming generation would be a little bit too addicted to the iPads and the iPhones. So he thought, why not ping pong? And we had a ping pong table in my basement, like many other typical Jewish families. And he really started out with my older brother, where they would just have a fun family night activity in my basement and just wanted to bond and talk face to face. And I'm the youngest in my family, and I went down to also give this a try and to also see what they were schmoozing about and to see what they were really doing. So just remembering, going down there, for the first time, I was pretty young and small at the time. They only saw really like a paddle going back and forth, but they assumed I was there somewhere. And slowly but surely, we would practice, and try to get better and better. I just started, so it's all good, And we would just really want to have a fun family night activity to bond, and my dad always thought, how come we don't have any Orthodox Jewish athletes in today's world, and even try to become the first, so to say. So after we would play in my basement, we would look to get better, and see who's better, who's the best in the family, and we took it to the next level of something called ping pong clubs. I'm not sure here, who's ever heard of such a thing, or if people have been to something called a ping pong club. But the one thing I can say is that the first time going there, boy was I humiliated. Not only for the fact of standing out with the kosher and Jewish look, so to say, and my brother with the kippah, and my dad with the kosher food on the side, and you could only just imagine the scene, but besides that, we were literally the worst ones there. And if people really know my personality, it's not usually my cup of tea, so to say. I don't like to be the worst one anywhere. And, going there, it really gave us the place. My brother and me thought we were better than my dad. We were just beating him and getting, much more improvement. And when we were at these ping pong clubs, we then began receiving private and professional coaching. From these top coaches from all over the world, that would actually tell us that we had special and unique talent and that we should continue with the training. And that's exactly what we did. We were there for a good 2 to 3 nights a week, 20 to 30 minutes, and began, really improving our game. So fast forward to that for a little bit. I guess I'll take us to the year of 2012, where I was personally training for something called the U.S. Nationals. The U.S. Nationals is actually the biggest tournament a year for the entire country. And for this type of tournament, my schedule was training for about 5 days a week for 2 to 3 hours. I wasn't really hanging out with friends. I was missing school. I was missing family function. I was really just focusing on the U.S. Nationals. And the way that the tournament works is that, if we could all just imagine, is that it's about 100 plus ping pong tables in Las Vegas with about 800 plus players from all over the world coming and trying to battle it out on the highest of stages in sports and looking to bring home a medal, I'm sure preferably the color of gold. And there I was going there for my first time and thinking to myself, how proud, can I really make myself and my coaches and my entire family that's been supporting me throughout the way. And in one of the rating events there, which I would describe the word rating as ability, so I could personally be playing against people my age, men, women, younger kids, whatever type of age, it's just really based on your ability. So in one of the ability events, which was about 150 people, I actually made it to the final 16. Pretty impressive, no? In case, just to get the crowd comfortable here. And in the final 16, it's very exciting, when and where, what table the next match is going to be. And we see the board and we realize that the next match is actually 7:30 p.m. Friday night. And I was clearly now faced with a decision, to decide what to do. Are you halakhically allowed to play ping pong on Shabbos? Is this something that we should do? Is this something that we shouldn't be doing? So I'm nowhere near as a Rav or a Posek to start giving people, these types of answers. But I was now trying to grapple with myself. What should I do? On one hand, this is something that I dream about and that I lived for, as you just heard, a little bit of making sacrifices, of really just focusing on the U.S. Nationals in my life, not really doing anything else. And on the other hand, I'm trying to think, staying at a closer by hotel, walking, not doing, so to say, any muksa, not breaking any halacha. If anything, I was thinking, who plays ping pong during the week if you're not in Ackerman? If anything, it's only a Shabbos afternoon activity, so to say. And as I was really trying to think, going back and forth in my mind in terms of what to do and a proper decision, I was recognizing that I was trying to state values in life. That as much as I think it's totally fine in my own house, Shabbos lunch, we have Zmiros, Divrei Torah, everyone's more than welcome to come to the basement and to have fun and as a regular Shabbos afternoon, it's totally fine. But I felt a little bit in a tournament with media, with umpires, with a uniform. I felt that wouldn't really be in the spirit of Shabbos. And I was recognizing that as much as I love the sport table tennis, and as much as I really compete and I have such a big passion, that I think Yiddishkeit and Judaism really is my number one priority in life. With keeping table tennis number 2, I guess school number 3, that's the joke. But really thinking that there was definitely, something much more greater inside of me that I felt that me personally would be a little bit more proud of my decision. It definitely was disappointing, because I definitely really love to compete, and show the world, the talent and skill that I train for. And not having the ability to play, and recognizing that I felt that Judaism is and will always be my number one priority was surely a big pivotal moment in my life.
How old were you then?
I was 11 years old. Yeah. And so when we flew back to New York, I realized, when family and friends would ask, so Estee, how was the tournament? How'd you do? Pictures, videos. I was obviously unraveling the truth, and they were so confused. They didn't really get the chap of, what do you mean, Estee? You just didn't play? You were defaulted? What does that mean? How were you able to give something up that you talk about 24/7, that you train for 24/7? And I told them the following, that as much as I think it's totally fine, it's different in a tournament. Baruch Hashem, I've been raised in a beautiful home where I see values of Torah and Chesed, and I recognize what life is truly, truly all about, and what we should be hopefully having our own personal values for. And hopefully feeling that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really running the world, how much more so do we want to be a part of it? How much more so do we hopefully want to team up with him? And when I was saying that as much as I love the sport table tennis, my faith and my religion came first. And at that moment, the news world and the media we recognized was picking up on my story. I remember very, very clearly I was on page 7 of the New York Post, like that Monday after. I had ABC, CBS, Fox News down the block from my house. I was on all the Jewish newspapers, I was on radio shows, I was all over the news world, so to say, and having the 15 minutes of fame, which is something I definitely do not look for, but it was occurring in my life not for the fact that I'm so skillful and talented in the sport of table tennis, but for the reason that I put my paddle down for Shabbos. And in my own mind, I felt so lucky and so blessed at that moment. It's pretty tough to describe when I was receiving random letters and calls and emails from many different types of people in the Jewish world, if they're from, Reform, Modern, not so affiliated, that this story reached them. That they felt that hearing how a little frum Jewish girl put her paddle down, a passion for sports, and giving something up for the greater will of Judaism, that they felt in their own life to keep a little bit more kosher, to keep a little bit more Shabbos. And when I was receiving this, that truly was my gold medal. I felt that that's exactly what we're here to be doing. Each and every one of us here, how clear are we definitely blessed and nourished with such skill and talent and strengths that we definitely have. It just might take some time in terms of letting it out and recognizing our high potential in life and the greatest gift that Hashem gives each and every one of us. So from that Shabbos default, so to say, in the following year, in 2013, I was back at Las Vegas for the same thing, the U.S. Nationals, where in one of the rating events that was a little bit higher from the year before, I actually made it all the way to the final round, winning the gold medal that year. It's fine, you can hold no thought. I've never seen such a crowd so lively, it's amazing, And that year was definitely, it was like pretty special. The fact that I could call myself a U.S. national champion, even though the year before I couldn't, not because I wasn't good enough, only for the fact I put my paddle down for Shabbos, and I chose Yiddishkeit, our religion, as my top priority in life. That year in 2013, I was also featured on the Rachel Ray Show, where I humiliated and defeated celebrity chef Bobby Flay. I also was invited to play and meet against tennis celebrity Rafael Nadal, which was very cool. As his sponsor at the time, Nike, wanted to put a cool event together in New York City. And
who won the game? You were Nadal.
Who won the game? I don't like to put people down, but let's just say I think I'm the better ping pong player. In tennis, maybe it's a different story, but. In that following year, the cool things, so to say, or the blessings that I felt that I was receiving in my mind was just very clear that it was from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I really never would have imagined receiving such doors and so many opportunities open to me, including working with charity events and being invited to speak on Pesach programs and public speaking since the age of 13, Baruch Hashem. Just really for the sole fact that any one of us sitting really right here and in the greater scale of the Jewish community can surely be following their dreams and trying to live out their passion while hopefully staying Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. I guess just moving along, I could bring us to the year of 2016, where we were having the Olympic tryouts for the Summer Olympics in Rio, Brazil. If people don't know, by the way, U.S. has never medaled in the sport of ping pong, while ping pong is the second most popular sport in the entire world. And the way that the trials worked was, I was very privileged to be only one of 16 women for the entire country fighting for 3 spots. You guys know how many women there are in America? No, I mean, I think there's a lot. I'm not really holding so much in the numbers, but
More than 150 million.
Nice, probably. So I felt pretty cool, to be only one of 16 women, for the entire country fighting for these 3 spots in the Olympic trials. Before we traveled to North Carolina, where that's where the location was held, we realized that the trials was 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And of course, I'm sure you're all thinking, oh, was Estee doing all 3 days? Maybe she obviously sacrificed once, but she'll go for the next time. And before we even got to North Carolina, we made the decision that I was only going to play 2 days, to try out the Thursday and Friday, while clearly everybody else was going to have 3 days to try out, definitely putting myself at a disadvantage. But my parents thought I'd make it the first day, and in sports, anything can surely occur, as we know. I don't need to make all my sports jokes, but, definitely people know if they're holding. And the way that the trials was, just to give you a better gist, out of those 16 women, I was ranked number 14. I was definitely not a favorite to win, but I knew I was going to give 110% of my best and see really what magic can be done. As the first day, Thursday, the trials was randomly drawn, who plays who, and I was randomly matched up with a top female from California, who was a very, very well-known name in the ping pong world, very top athlete, and it was definitely pretty obvious who was higher rated, so to say, which was definitely not me. And just for official rules, in case people don't know, it's the way that the games work is 2 serves each, game to 11, and I remember that first game. She was actually leading me 6-3, and I guess miraculously and with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's help, I actually won 8 points in a row, winning that first game. And the rest of the match, she did defeat me fair and square. And that was my run for day 1 of the Olympic trials. So we have now day 2, Friday. I'm thinking to myself, it's Erev Shabbos, maybe Hashem's throwing me some luck, something. And again, it's randomly drawn who plays who. And I see that I actually drew the same female from the day before. And in most situations in life, I try to look at it with a good eye. I deeply believe that whatever situation we're in, that there really is good. Just depends maybe what type of lenses, what type of glasses we're truly wearing. And so I was thinking to myself, I just played the girl yesterday. I know her serves, I know her strengths, I know her weaknesses. Maybe this is really looking pretty good for me. And then I guess I realized on the flip side, she knows my serves, she knows my style, she knows my strengths. I don't have any weaknesses. But Friday, the second day, she did beat me fair and square, and that was my run for the 2016 Olympic trials. However, at such a young age, at 14, I never would have imagined receiving such a title of becoming the first Orthodox Jewish athlete ever to try out for the Olympics for our country, and it's definitely a goal of mine to hit. So that summer, instead of being in Rio, Brazil, apparently there was some Zika virus, maybe it was Hashgacha, I wasn't even there, but I wasn't just sitting home on my couch watching it on TV. It's definitely not what I do. But I was at the next best stage for myself, where I was in Houston, Texas, competing in the Junior Olympics. And in that year, thank God I actually won the gold in girls under 16 for singles and doubles, which a lot of people consider my biggest highlight to date, becoming a junior Olympic gold medalist. And it was actually a pretty cool moment in my life. I felt that I thought I was supposed to be in Rio, Brazil. I thought that I was going to be in the real big Olympics with a million different bands and the 50 different countries and all the, hype and talk that we hear. And that was just all me. You know, how often do we hear in life that man plans and God laughs? That sometimes we think we know where we're supposed to be. We think we know how the world runs and how the strings are going to be pulled. But I thought that Hashem was telling me and showing me, you know, baby steps first, you know, junior Olympics first, you know, and maybe we'll get back at it for the next time. After that, I guess I can say in the year of 2019 and 2020, when I was going for my seminary year in Makala, and before I even got to Eretz Yisrael, my dad was actually contacted by the top coach from Yerushalayim, hearing that I was coming, so to say, for like my gap year, you know, and to try to be in touch and to even maybe represent and compete and play for his team. So besides balancing and learning in seminary, I also really loved the experience of representing the top club in Yerushalayim that year, where it was super, super cool to be meeting all these Israelis, and it was pretty funny. You know, they would never thought, I think, to see a little American girl with like a skirt thinking that she has game and like really knows what she's talking about. Boy, did I show him, you know, what it's really about. But it's really experiences like that I truly felt like, you know, how we're really all truly, truly united. Results-wise, my partner and I actually did really well, traveling to different cities like Rehovot and Lod, and definitely being very, very successful. Unfortunately, my seminary year was the year of the pandemic, where I had to fly back in March, so my partner and I technically could not finish actually at the finals. But you know, the Israelis there definitely missed me, I think, and overall, you know, I was very, very thankful for the opportunity, and there was definitely nothing like competing in our home. From then, you know, I definitely have been ramping up my training schedule, as today is Sunday, and I actually just came back from Las Vegas on Wednesday from the 13th time actually being there, and my dad and I love to joke that we've been there 13 times and I've not gambled once. As I like to say, I compete on different tables and I try to win on different tables. And the US Open, being there just a few days ago, was truly, truly incredible. It was an awesome tournament. For me personally, I brought home 2 gold medals and 2 bronze, while missing a week of Stern College and trying to balance everything else. And, you know, if people really, really know me, you know, bronze isn't really my personality. You know, I truly, really definitely focus on the gold. So you could be thinking now, like, how did Estee bring back 2 bronze? You know, what really happened then? And one of the events, why I received the bronze, was in the event called Under 21 Women. I'm currently 20 years old, and this was technically my last time playing in this type of event, where I was personally doing really, really well, and it was Friday, and after winning my round robin group and defeating women who were actually ranked above me, I was getting very excited to be going to the Final Four, to the semifinals, and we saw that watched that about 3:30, and Baruch Hashem, we had hosts waiting for us in Henderson, a beautiful, nice frum community there. And we were now faced a little bit with the same decision that I, Baruch Hashem, didn't have until a good 9 years ago, until 2012. So we spoke to the tournament director, you know, to maybe speak Motzei Shabbos, Saturday night, can I play the match, is that okay? And discussing, you know, maybe if that could be a possibility. And unfortunately, you know, he said that he'll look into it, you know, so it was definitely a possibility, you know, but it could obviously go either way. So we had Shabbos by our people in Las Vegas, and right after Shabbos we turned on our phones, seeing what had happened or to see if they would, text us or call. And unfortunately we saw that they defaulted me. And it definitely wasn't easy, or satisfying to see that. Once again, obviously, seeing that there was no accommodation. And that's exactly why, I was receiving the bronze medal for that and not having the ability to get the silver or the gold. And, the medal, though, still speaks to me very, very much. You see, the bronze medal is not something now that I'm going to call the bronze medal. It's something that I think I'm going to call Zachor Es Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho medal. To feel that when we sacrifice for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and when we really give ourselves over for Yiddishkeit in life, there truly is a greater meaning and greater reward behind it. I believe we're taught in life that when we try to make a Kiddush Hashem, when we try to sanctify Hashem's name to the entire world, that we do get repaid. It might be in this world, it might be in the next world, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years. But for some reason, I feel very, very blessed that I was able to receive a little bit of the reward literally right now. When I was looking, at the scoreboard in the tournament only a few days ago and seeing under my name, it says the word default and how the other player moves on, just not me, it doesn't really feel so great. But I actually printed out that paper, and I think I'm going to keep that paper inside my sitter. I'm pretty sure people really, when they daven, they probably have names in mind, and they underline certain things, and they have maybe certain sticky notes or post-its. But what this paper, I think, is going to remind me of is that when I'm talking to Hashem, I'm going to say, look, Hashem, I actually defaulted a match that is so important to me personally, and something that I live with, and something that I have a passion for, and something that I'm very talented in. But I defaulted because you, Hashem. We're supposed to build up our merits, we're supposed to build up our mitzvos in life to hopefully make HaKadosh Baruch Hu feel a little bit like, wow, look how much she or he is really doing in life. Look how much that neshama is really doing for Klal Yisrael. And hopefully when we do that, we can really feel for our personal selves, what really is life truly about. When we came back from Las Vegas only a few days ago, Rabbi Wallerstein actually called my dad, inviting us this past Shabbos, just literally 25 hours ago, to come to the Ornav Shabbaton upstate, to be one of the speakers, alongside with many different scholars. I didn't really know where I fit in, but it's tough to ever say no to Rabbi Wallerstein or the organization, as I was truly humbled to be giving over my story and the inspiration to a crowd from Lakewood and Borough Park, and to girls who aren't so much on the path just yet, and having these opportunities and being experienced, with these people, and the opportunities that I have is something that I never really would have dreamed of. And I hope that as I just shortly conclude, as we all go through life, no matter what is occurring with us, if we're in school or if we're working, that we're going to get the bumps, we're going to get the challenges, that is surely going to come, there is no doubt there. But when we're going to be faced with these big decisions, I hope that we can all take the small message away, that we could have Yiddishkeit as our number one priority. That no matter what, hopefully kosher and Torah and the mitzvos will never be going down on our values list. Hopefully that can always stay as surely as number one. And that no matter what, right, that as we're going to be always growing and wanting to move up, we're only going to have the greater challenges taught, and that as it is said, Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam, that when the righteous fall, hopefully we will get back up. and that there's no doubt in my mind that I've definitely experienced a little bit of the bumps and the downside from not being able to play or not being able to be accommodated or not having the chance at certain things. I hope you guys can just learn and take away that I've definitely gotten back up. I've been competing for a good 10 to 11 years now, and believe me, I don't do it for the gold medals, I don't do it for the trophies, I have that, but I do it for the moments like this, you know, for people and for organizations that come out and put themselves out there to making an impact on Klal Yisrael. And how much more especially do we need each and everybody, you know, to truly follow your dreams, to go out and live with your passion in life and shoot for the stars. And even though we're Orthodox frum, it's not the even though, but rather like the biggest gift of our entire lives. And it's definitely a goal of mine to continue popularizing the sport and becoming an ambassador and even getting it into the local yeshiva day schools and even onward, and seeing that ping pong is a very unique sport and how much people can really be playing it as they might not even know how much good they really are. So I didn't, I guess, win the Olympic gold medal just yet, but hopefully 2024, we never know. But really and ultimately, I'm trying to win the gold medal in life. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions or any comments or thoughts. No one should be shy. Seems like a friendly, warm crowd.
All right.
Sure, start it off.
Was it natural talent, or you just kept working hard at it to become so good when you were so young?
Really, when we went to the professional coaches at the clubs, for the first time, they did think that I had a little unique talent that they saw. However, I think it's one of my quotes that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I definitely think it was definitely more in terms of the hashtadlus wise. I can tell you plenty of times I didn't want to go train, I didn't want to go to the court, I didn't want to have the 2-hour lesson. I just wanted to sit on the couch and have some chips and Oreos or whatever. But a lot of hard work, sweat and tears went into it. And I think, when people set an amount of time, a certain mental time as well, and obviously strength, physical on and off the court as well, I think, that definitely does outrule the talent.
Where did your brother end up? Did he compete at all, or he?
No, yeah, sure. No, my brother, he definitely was much better than me. I would say he probably has much more trophies than myself. In high school, he was basketball superstar and also top shear, spent a couple years in Shalvim, so he definitely wasn't keeping up with the training. I'm jealous of his car though. He's really doing much more important things. But, so yeah, that was his run. Yeah.
Hey, did you ever get recognized on the street for are there a lot of people who follow ping pong that you've met on the streets or whatever?
Yeah, sure. There's some friends here, so they've walked with me sometimes, they've I think seen some of that go down. But I guess a little bit, I would say probably mostly from the Jewish world, but being able to hopefully popularize it, for the reason of getting the message out there. I guess I've been stopped here and there. Yeah, sure. Anyone else? No one needs to be shy. Yeah, please.
My boys want to know if they could challenge you.
Challenge me, sure.
Yeah. Did you bring a set? Because we bought a temporary set. Right here. A travel set.
Yeah, no, that's great. Sure, yeah, I'm more than happy to. I don't really like to embarrass people, but if you're asking,
they're good athletes. These
totally
guys.
fine. Yeah, sure. I'd be more than happy to. Yeah, Kazis, how we doing?
They're having a ping pong tournament on the Upper West Side, in 2 weeks. If you're interested.
A tournament for?
I think Young Israel of the Upper West Side is hosting it.
Right, just for people, you're saying
Yeah, for singles and whatever.
Right.
So I said to my kids, I'm like, all right, make sure the acronyms don't sign up.
Right. So you're telling me to come or not to come? Or, you know.
I was joking.
Right. No, I mean it's been, it is a great, fundraising, idea, to have that, I was assuming that it probably wasn't a USATT, ranked and organized tournament, because I probably never heard about that, but, it's nothing good to know. Right. If you want to disguise me and do the whole thing, we can make them feel pretty embarrassed, it's fine, Yeah, sure. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? What? So you were on. So what? Questions, thoughts?
All right.
Fine. If not, I'm here. Thank you so much again,
Thank you
and
so
really, really
much.
much appreciated.
All right, thank you, everyone.
So they brought. Thank
How
you
do
so
we set
much.
the game?
Yeah, they have
Where do we
their
do
things
something?
here. One second, let me just
Where-
pause this.